The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of ECTV News, the City of East Chicago, nor this broadcast station or website. ECTV airs public meetings as a service to the community it serves. Speakers at public meetings, broadcast, or posted by ECTV News are solely responsible for their comments. ECTV News reserves the right to edit or remove any profanity or abusive language or behavior deemed inappropriate for our viewing audience. If you have any comments or suggestions about this program, contact ECTV News at 219-391-8206.
Call to order the regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, December 8th, 2014. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Present.
Battle.
Present.
Vasquez. Cuevas.
Present.
Orange.
Present.
Maldonado. Arnold.
Present.
Parks.
Present.
Francisci.
Present. For the record, Madam Clerk, I did get a call from Councilwoman Maldonado. She's in training this evening. I have a motion to accept the minutes for the regular scheduled meeting for November 10th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Parks. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes for the regular scheduled meeting for November 24th, 2014?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second. Motion was made by Councilman Santos, seconded by Councilman Cuevas. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes. Have any communications from the mayor?
No.
Any communications from department heads?
Yes. Accounts payable warrant 120814 BD.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilwoman Orange, to accept accounts payable warrant 120814 BD. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 120114.
So move. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Battle, to accept payroll warrant 120114. Do I have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 112114.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilwoman Orange, to accept payroll warrant 112114. Any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 120814 CC.
So move. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Battle, to accept accounts payable warrant 120814 CC. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. Do we have any committee reports? The board reports will be read at next meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances on first reading?
Yes, 14-0035, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of East Chicago authorizing the transfer of appropriations within and between various city departments.
So moved on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Santos, to hear ordinance 14-0035 on second reading. Have any questions on the motion? Councilwoman Orange?
Val Gomez, interim city controller.
Val, with the move that is made for the city court and what the judge made through the last ordinance or resolution we had, will she be able to make her payroll for the end of the year now?
She's made some changes. She had funds in different accounts. And I think Kim and Alicia are running the figures, and I think she's going to be able to, but I have to check with Kim. She transfers some personnel to different sections, so.
Would it be moving the probation people into the probation,
Right,
so they can get paid out of that?
right.
Okay.
So now she sent her figures to Kim and Alicia, and they were looking at them. They didn't give me, I didn't realize I was going to ask this question, so I didn't check with Kim and Alicia to find out if everything's okay. But usually they would tell me if there's some kind of discrepancy. So,
I mean, we don't have that long left. I just want to make sure if she
Right.
made some changes, as we had asked her to do in the finance meetings, and she
Well,
did do that.
we did, when we sent her
I
the
wanna
letter,
be
we
sure.
explained what the consequences would be, that if the changes didn't match what the recommendations from Kim Anderson and Alicia, that there would be shortfalls, and we would actually, at that extreme, that they would have to cut, there wouldn't be any more further funds as far as payouts. So,
But I mean, so as long as she can, because like I said, she knew that she could move people into the probation.
Right.
To pay them out of probation, so that if she was going to have a shortfall, she'd be able to pay them out of that.
yeah, I'm thinking she met it, because otherwise the changes would have been in here. Because Alicia and Ms. Anderson have been pretty diligent in coming up with this ordinance and what was short on different accounts.
Thank you.
Councilman Cuevas?
Yeah, Val, can you answer a little bit about this fire personnel service to the emergency management communications? What does that entail?
That's for the final payout of the 911 dispatchers. That's for their salary banks. So as you know, it's gonna go now to the county. And so this, at the end of December, this will be our final payout for the dispatchers. So this is for paying for any banks, anything we have to pay out to close their accounts.
Okay.
Councilwoman Orange?
Because Val, from January 1st, they'll be getting paid from the county,
Yes.
so we won't have anything else to do
Right.
with that. Okay.
Any other questions? Councilman Santos?
Val, and I don't know that you're the person to ask, but since you're here, are we ready for that? Is that gonna happen January 1st?
Well, I don't know if the county's gonna be ready, but it's turned over to them, so they're gonna be accountable. From what I understand, I don't think they're gonna be ready in January. I think they're asking for an extension, so it might, I don't know exactly when they're going to be completely ready. Because from what I understand, they still have to build some additional towers. There's some issues with the towers. We still have the issues with those 3 communities to the south of us, so
But we won't be responsible for that payroll, am I right?
no, we won't.
But
So-
we will still have 911 service.
Yes, we'll still have 911.
Okay.
So.
Councilman Parks?
I was just going to clarify for Councilman Santos. Everything's going to be turned over to the county, but each municipality will still be housed where they were, and they'll still be dispatching from there. But everything, payroll and all that will be through the county.
I think they're doing some training over at the police department
Right.
with new dispatchers, so they've been here. So even though it's with the county, some are still going to be in place here.
Right.
Is that a comment? If they, when we didn't get the 911, when they wrestled it away from us, but now they're sending their dispatchers here to be trained, that's just like, it's like almost like a stab in the heart. We weren't good enough to have the 911 system, but we're good enough to train all the dispatchers from the county.
Well, I agree, because we were the primary, and then we were the secondary. Even all the initial discussions, and when they voted, we were number 1, Hobart was number 2. And then, like you said, we went out
From my
there.
understanding, none of the dispatchers from East Chicago were made supervisors. That just is just wrong,
Yeah.
how they did that.
Councilman Cuevas?
Well, you said an extension. Elaborate more on an extension for what time for them to set it up, or keeping our employees a little bit longer with the county, or is that?
No, it's the ones they're hiring now. If they hire some of our employees, I'm not involved in discussions. That's more with the police chief, fire chief, our EMA director. I just hear what's been in the paper and what I hear from when our emergency management director gives us a report that they're behind in certain sectors of that plan to
Training.
get it completed. Not the training, but also some of the hardware. So as far as the hardware, I know some of the towers, there's 2 towers that have to be built. I think that's what they're asking for, an additional $1 million, million something.
To add in what Councilwoman Orange says, for them not hiring somebody in the supervisor position is going to be a big error, and it's going to cause delays. Because someone that knows our city and understands the streets and the ins and outs of, some of these calls, I think it's vital that you need somebody with experience to be a supervisor to help with the county. Because I'm sure if they're not from our city or ever been around it helps for them to understand how the streets are and how they work, the big avenues and whatnot. So definitely, I hope they revise that and look forward to hiring somebody at the supervisor position that is very knowledgeable with our city, because you're going to have delays. I foresee that, in my opinion. It's going to be a problem. And I hope it's not for a long period of time and they can adjust, but that's important that they consider that.
Councilman Santos?
Mr. President, may I suggest that maybe you call a special meeting that we invite those folks that are putting together the E911 system in the county and stress to them our concerns that, hey, East Chicago evidently seems good enough for them to train here, but yet we can't have no supervisor positions, and that's just wrong. And maybe somebody needs to come up before the city council and answer, because we can truly become like Cherville and those south counties that don't want to partake, but East Chicago's always wanting to partake with the county and making this come together so that they can do this. I mean, I agree. Many times sitting at these tables, East Chicago was the first one. Then they railroad us, and then they say, okay, they even called it the dark side. We're going to be the dark side, and then we went from the dark side to, God only knows, but yet East Chicago is great enough for those folks to come over here and train. I think the people that are running this program need to understand that, we do have problems with this, and they need to know that we can easily become like the other communities down south and say, hey, we don't want to take part of this program. But we've always been willing to work out with the folks down there in South County. Now, if they're not willing to work with us, then why should we work with them? They can't come and use our spot for to train and then say they're scared to come in East Chicago. you know? And I find that, I do have a problem, so Mr. President, maybe you could call a meeting?
Yeah, by the end of the meeting, I'll get with the public safety chairman, the committee chairman, and I'll talk to her to set something up for a meeting.
I think if you call in our EMA director and our fire chief and police chief, they're the ones that are directly involved with those meetings, so.
Thank you, Val.
Councilman Parks, do you have some?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean, I think there should have been someone from East Chicago in a supervisory position. But to speak to Councilman Cuevas's point of as far as knowing the avenues and things like that, my understanding is once they're up and running full, the first year, all the dispatchers that were hired from East Chicago, even though they'll be county employees, they'll dispatch all East Chicago calls. Then after the first year, they'll be cross-trained to dispatch in other areas.
I think to your concern, yeah. Councilman Clay, I think to your concern, I think the software, I think when a call comes in, I think they actually, even though they're not familiar, they'll come up exactly what their instructions are. But I still think it's better having people from this area.
Because computers don't always work right.
You know, it's just like me going to, being a dispatcher here all my career, and then I'm in the county, and I got to dispatch somebody to Cherville, Maryville, or Hammond. I wouldn't, you know, I might not have a total view of what to send and who to send, and
That's why it's
kind
going to
of
be,
things.
when we looked at it way back when I was fire chief, even then it was a software, because it's impossible one person to know the entire area. So you punch in when someone calls, here's my address, you punch it in, on the computer, it shows everything on the screen. So that's how it's going to work. It's not based on the person's memory or knowledge of trying to memorize areas. It's actually the software that's going to tell them. So as long as they punch in the address correctly, it should come up correctly.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0035 on second reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-0036, sponsored by Anthony Copeland, salary ordinance for elected officials.
So move on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Orange, to hear ordinance 14-0036 on second reading. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0036 on second reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes. Madam Clerk, we have any ordinances on second reading?
No.
We have any ordinances on third reading?
Yes. 14-0031, sponsored by Anthony Copeland. An ordinance authorizing the city of East Chicago, Indiana, to make temporary loans to meet current running expenses for the use of the general fund of the insured in anticipation of and not in excess of current taxes levied in the year 2014 and collectible in the year 2015, authorizing the insurance of temporary loan tax and anticipation warrants to evidence such loans and the sale of such warrants to the Indiana Bond Bank, and appropriating and pledging the taxes to be received in such funds to the punctual payment of such warrants, including the interest thereon.
So move on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Orange, to hear ordinance 14-0031 on third reading. Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0031 on third and final reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-0032, sponsored by Anthony Copeland, an ordinance creating and establishing a new fund.
So moved on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Parks, to hear ordinance 14-0032 on third reading. Do we have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0032 on third and final reading.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Arnold,
yes,
Parks,
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-0033, sponsored by Anthony Copeland, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of dormant fund balances.
So moved on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Parks, to hear ordinance 14-0033 on third reading. Do you have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0033 on third and final reading.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Arnold,
yes,
Parks,
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any resolutions?
No.
Do we have any old business?
Yes.
I believe we do.
Yes, we do.
Councilwoman Orange, did you want to speak
Yes,
on this?
this is an addendum to the contract for the financial consulting services. As you know, this year, we did, the finance committee did it a little different, and we had a lot of meetings, and this is how we know whether the judge was gonna be short or her budget would be be able to pay for her budget. We went through each department. It took us about 2.5 months for us to complete every department. I think this is the longest we went. You know, we've had some finance meetings, but we realized that in the past, we've ran into some problems by not hearing everybody out. We had each department come in, and we questioned them without the mayor's people being there, without their bosses being there, without Jim Bennett being there, so that we could get the truth of the real financial picture. Not saying that he wouldn't tell us the truth, but we wanted to make sure Val didn't sit in on the meetings. We wanted to make sure we were getting the full picture of what was going on. I think that this council and the finance committee, we did, to me, a phenomenal job. You know, you hear people complain and do all that, but we did a lot of work on this. And I think the papers and information that we were able to provide from the administration and from Cinder's company, that it showed the work that we put into this. And I think we were better for it at the end of knowing more about the budget. So it ran over, and so we talked about it. One thing I can say, that Cinder's company has never overcharged us. If we didn't use them, they never charge us. We always get a itemized statement of what they're doing. And so when we've had money in past years that was left over in their agreement, which went back to the general fund, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have to come back before the council in 2015 and say, okay, we've spent over our money and this is what we need. So that in case, because we knew that the $5 million would be short from BP Amico, so we didn't want to have to come back and do another appropriation. So I'm asking Steve, do we have to vote on this? Because really it's just changing the wording in here.
You should vote no.
Okay. So I'm asking my colleagues to vote on this. This would be more like a resolution more than an ordinance. Steve?
Yes, if I may. Stephen Bauer, attorney for the council. What this does is allows for additional payments to be made to Cinder and Company for all the work that they did basically this year with the finance committee and going over the budget. That was the primary reason why you hired them in the first place, and that's the job that they perform. This is the first time, I've only been here 4.5 years, but this is the first time there has been a really in-depth review of the budget and an attempt to make an analysis and to see where every department was, what they were doing, what they needed, and where their expenditures were. And so, a huge amount of time was expended, and it is appropriate to do a modification, to vote on a modification, an addendum to their contract, so that they can get paid, unless Carl wants to waive that.
Councilman Santos?
Mr. President, so moved to accept the addendum to the contract for the financial consulting services of Sender and Company.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Santos, seconded by Councilman Parks. Addendum to contract for financial consulting services for Sender and Company. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Arnold. Yes. Parks,
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. We have any new business?
No, just going back to.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Orange?
You said the letters will go out tomorrow? Okay, so I want to be able to sign them, and I'll call you in the morning. And then we will get the list for you said the boards appointments?
I'll ask Tania about it in the morning.
Okay. And we could have that as soon as possible because it's at the end of the month. And, okay, I'll wait for the new business on the other one.
Moving on to new business. Councilman Parks?
It's come to my attention that one of our tow companies that's currently towing for us has possibly violated some states, well, he has violated a state statute by overcharging. He's also not following proper procedure with abandoned vehicles. And that tow company is Trevino's. According to Indiana Code 32-33-10-5B, you cannot charge more than $1,500 for storage fees. I have here a canceled check where he charged someone $3,900. I'd like to ask Madam Clerk to send Trevino a letter and ask him to attend our next meeting to discuss this, and also send a letter to Chief Becker asking for Trevino to at least be suspended from towing until this matter is taken care of.
Any other new business? Councilwoman Orange?
They probably could have kept the car. I said they probably could have kept the car after $3,900, but, Madam Clerk, also, if you could send a letter to Northwest Indiana Community Action. They do, energy assistance for, NIPSCO in the state of Indiana. And there is not a site in the city of East Chicago, and we have a lot of elderly people that cannot, get to the other sites. They have them in Crown Point, Hammond, Gary, they have in Lake Station, and we've always had a site in East Chicago. The last site was Cap Family Services. We've had them at Martin Luther King. They've even been at the township. And we want to know why they have not put a site here for people to be able to get assistance with their NIPSCO. We haven't had real bad weather, but I'm sure it's coming. And some of the people may be shut off by lack of not having transportation. And we want to know why they have not put a site here in the city of East Chicago.
Madam Clerk, I have a few things for new business. First thing, we do have our council workshop scheduled for Wednesday, December 17th at 10 o'clock in the council chambers. One thing will be on there will be the 911. I will ask Dave Deal, as far as the EMA director, to be here, as far as Chief Perez as well, and somebody from Lake County. And we'll also discuss our reappointments for the boards. We can get that started as well. That's Wednesday, December 17th at 10 o'clock. Councilwoman Orange.
Can you send also a letter to Senator Randolph? Because we had told him that when we had our next workshop, that we would invite him to come to discuss some of the things that would be happening in the State House. And so if he's available, he could come to that meeting.
Okay. Any other new business? Moving on to public expression. If you could please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have any?
No.
A motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Battle. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos?
Yes.
Beckman?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange? Yes. Arnold?
Yes.
Yes.
Francisco?
Yes, good night.